Right, first and foremost. Oh no, I knew this was gonna give me trouble. Maybe. Oh no, just a minute. This bag. It's this bag again. Hey, first and foremost, I want to give all the honors, praises, glory belongs to my Lord and Savior Yahawashi Apostles. Waharakar Kwadash. I'm not gonna lie, it's somewhat a nice morning in terms of weather and so forth. Get out here, get your vitamin D supply and all that. But the main supply is the scriptures. There's a lot I want to talk about, a lot of things that are going on. Remember, John 8, 8 and 32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall what? Make you free. It's made those that believe in him, it's made them free. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of lies, there's a lot of things going on. I'm a true believer in truth. When you bring up truth, the truth always stands. Remember that. In terms of control and things like that, I've told you. People have to make anybody that's free, the people that run this world, they can't have other people seeing that. Because if other people see it, guess what there's gonna be? An insurrection. So they can never show you someone that's actually free. You know that, right? No, you're gonna have people that watch you, stalk you, whatever you want to call it. You're still free. Why? Because Yahawashi said, whoever the sun sets free is free indeed. Is free indeed. So, no, people, they can watch you. They can know your every move physically. But in the spirit, they can't contain the spirit. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to lock down the spirit. But you cannot contain the spirit. John 3. The spirit is like the wind. It's like the wind. I'm back in summer. Hold on. We're approaching summer now. Spring, right? Listen, spring, everything springs back to life now. The hour of darkness, you've had your hour of darkness. Yahawashi said that your hour of darkness, man. These witches, these warlocks, what do you think they were doing in winter? It was heavy, right? The level of warfare. There was sacrifices being done. There was animals being sacrificed, babies. This what was happening in winter. There were ceremonies that were going on. Some of your names were put on altars. Guess what? You got through it. You got through the winter. You're still here, Marakisha. You see? So we got to maintain, keep teaching, and don't act busy. Just teach the word. You don't have to prove nothing to no one. You show up for Yahawashi and him only. You don't have to prove nothing to no one. Because when you examine these same people, well, what are they doing? Nothing. Not much. So always focus on Yahawashi and the mission at hand. Right? Can't get caught up on what this person, that person thinks. Are people gonna watch you? Yeah. You can't control that. You can't control how another man thinks or a narrative they have concerning you. The truth is, they were trying to put you in a position that was not right. And you got out of that. And I think it makes them very angry. Because the Lord Yahushua has set you free. You have demons trying to enslave you. How does that work? How does that work? We're going to get into the scriptures now. Hmm? And just stay calm and let the scriptures come out. You know what they're doing today? Pure red color codes today, man. Pure red color codes. You know they try to do that, sensitize you to different color codes and so forth. So we're gonna let these scriptures come out. We're gonna let the scriptures do the talking because that's where the power is. So let's start off on this. This is Psalms 139, right? And we're gonna jump straight to 19. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, oh power. So we want the wicked to be slain according to Yahushai's will. It says it. Oh, you slain the wicked, Baba Kishar. So that's what's gonna happen. The wicked are gonna be slayed. Oh yeah, because I trust in Yahushua. I trust in His power. I'm glad I'm out here today. But what else are you gonna do? Right? And if you're gonna be useful for Him. You be useful for Satan. Satan wants to use you, then dispose of you. That's what he does. Uses you, dispose of you. When he can no longer. That's what happens, man. Look at the industry. Look at the scandals. He's in your ear lying to you with them familiar spirits, man. And it says, Depart from me, therefore, you bloodthirsty men. And you brothers, just be mindful. There's bloodthirsty people out here as well. Satan's bloodthirsty, right? Bloodthirsty people, bloodthirsty cults. You're gonna have the perps that come out now. You might have about 20, 30. It depends on how 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 high the level of the spiritual frequency is. When my spiritual frequency gets high, they all come out. You're gonna have people coming out now talking rubbish. It's demons, man. It's demons on assignment, right? A lot of these people are part of groups as well. You got school groups, school groups, with school app chats and all that, and they take pictures of you and they send it around with these community groups and all that. You got all that going on. It's all demons, man. But you got to fight against that, man. Fight against that stuff with the scriptures, because they're not as strong as Yahawashi, are they? Hmm? They know they messed up. So the only thing they can do now is just project and gaslight, which shows we have the truth. It's over for you, man. Depart from me. Oh, you bloodthirsty men. Yeah, people bloodthirsty out here, man. Ain't got nothing else to do, right? Seeking blood. Same thing with Yahawashi. Look what they done to him, bro. Crown of thorns on his head, right? Beat him. They slapped him, right? And what did they ended up doing? Falsely accusing him. This was the Messiah. So how more are they going to do that to you? Yahawashi said, if they have done that to me, they would do it to you also.
So what, you got a
right?
bit of time off then?
Yeah, yeah, I have. Baba Kisha. So they're gonna do that. They're gonna stand with you as well. Okay. And he also send out the army, Baba Kisha. This is crazy shit. Right? But power. Stand in your power. Right? And it says, Baba Kisha, check this out. It's psychological warfare. For they speak against you wickedly. You got people speaking against us. You got people speaking against us wickedly. Wickedly. Right? On phones, corporations. We're talking about corporations. I told you about these apps. They have apps. They have group chats where they discuss other people's lives and what they think they should do in group chats, because they figured, well, the more people we have, the more validity it holds. It don't, because Yahawashi, guess what? He had many men that were against him. Stephen, he was stoned by many men because he was telling the truth. So you have a pattern of people, and anytime there's the hive mind, they call it the mobbing mentality. That's very dangerous because they're all thinking the same, because they're of the world. So that can become very dangerous at times. Remember, they're not when you're in a group, the group is thinking collectively, they're making decisions collectively. They're not making decisions by themselves. That's why I don't that whole group thing. Nah, we gotta nip that in the bud. Gotta nip that in the bud, man. Because people ain't thinking right, man. They're like zombies, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you agree? Do you agree? Yeah, yeah. But they don't look at nothing. They're not studious. They're not prudent. That's why Yahweh's just bringing all that down. Within them groups, there's infightings. If Satan be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? They're not telling you this. There's infightings amongst them. Why? Because of lies. Because of lies. But they're not going to tell you that. Well, that's your fault. You shouldn't have got on these group chats talking shit, coming up against certain people talking rubbish. And now you're in a pickle now. Now they have to keep the what they call it? Keep the stone rolling down the hill. Make up a new lie. Nobody's believing it anymore. It's rubbish. Why? Because the light shines in darkness. You don't even need to defend yourself. Yahweh said that. You don't even need to defend yourself. When you're operating in truth, even with this video right now, anybody that's somewhat spiritual, they can see a light. They can see honesty, transparency. You don't need to defend yourself. That's why they're making a lot of noise. They need to do that. People that lie need to defend themselves. You speak in truth, you don't need to do that because it defends itself. Right? Let them talk rubbish. Let them follow you home. If they're fucking that desperate, that means if someone has to do that, that means something's wrong with them. That That means something's wrong with them. Got people panicking out here. All right. So let's check this out. Your enemies take your name in vain. There's a lot of men that claim to be in the truth. They're taking the name of the Lord Yahawashi in vain. In vain. Right? Claiming to believe. But they persecuting the men that truly believe. That's another thing. You have counterfeits. Counterfeit men. You have the apostles. The apostles, they were under Yahawashi. But what men don't really do, you had the apostles, true apostles. But then you had Pharisees, chief priests, the elders. Not all of the elders were wicked, because Peter, when he had some contention with was it Paul? I think it was Paul. He went to who? The elders within Jerusalem. So not all of them. Then you had Pharisees. Yep, large majority of them were wicked. And that was a group. That was a group mentality. That was a group mentality. When you had the Sadducees, they were going back and forth with the Pharisees. They didn't believe in reincarnation. You had the Assyrians. You had different groups. Yeah, Yahushua wasn't a part of that. Now, he did form a group with John. I think it was with John. And he was called Sons of Thunder. But it wasn't none of that pretentious stuff. Because they were teaching of Yahushua. They were not teaching of themselves. You've got to realize that. They were not teaching of themselves. When I teach, it's about to glorify Yahushua. Glorify his name. It's about him, not your group. You glorifying your group. How you glorifying Yahushua if you're persecuting him and his men? Some men don't even see it because them spirits are so heavy on them. Let's go. Do I not hate them, O Lord Yahweh? Who hate you? It's King David. King David said, I hate them that hate you. Because King David was a servant of the Lord Yahweh. He was a friend of Yahweh. He was loved. He was favored. Beloved. King David was beloved in the sight of the Father. I hate them. Yeah, I hate them with a passion that hate the Lord. Why can't we? Yeah, and this other doctrine about we have to love everything. There's balance in that. See, when you read the scriptures, you got to look for the balance. What applies to this, to that, to this? You got to know what to love. What do you love? The whole Epstein thing. Do you love that? Do you love that? Yeah. Yeah. Just love everybody. Right? There's wickedness here. You can't just love everybody. You got to apply that. You got to apply that in balance, man. Yeah, there's a warlock. There's a warlock trying to take you out. Yeah, just love him. No, you got to apply balance. You got to pray against that. You got to wage war in the spirit against that warlock. Balance. It says, and do not allow those who rise up against you. I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. King David says, I hate them with a perfect hatred. I'm counting them my enemies, those that hate you, Lord. So the people that hate this truth, they hate the Lord Jehovah. So therefore, yeah, we hate them. Just like King David said. Right? These people, they don't care. They don't care about this. You've got many people that go to church. Same people that would be gang stalking, doing witchcraft on their congregation, casting spells. Too much hypocrisy. Those that worship the Lord Yahweh must worship him in truth. In truth. I hate them with a perfect hatred. See what else we got. And you're always going to have a Judas. You're always going to have a Judas. You're always going to have you have sellouts. Should we get into that as well? You have sellouts. Some, I know you're not going to like it. Yeah, a lot of these camps, they they sold out. They sold out. Yeah, you got people that sell their camps out just to have a good time here. Just to have a good time here in this world. Now you're under a gag order now. Now you can only speak about certain things. Certain men rarely talk about Yahushua. Rarely. And if they do, there's limitations on what they can talk about when it comes to Yahushua. Limitations. Let's go to it. Let's get it. We're going to give you the straight skinny. We gonna give you the straight skinny. You know, when you read the New Testament, not just New Old Testament, but mainly New, you will see a pattern, right? When Yahawashi, when he was healing, when he was about, who would always be in the midst? Who would always be in the midst? Who would always be watching? Who would always be accusing? It was certain men. It was the Pharisees, the religious leaders. They were always looking at the Messiah. They were always accusing him of something. They were always trying to catch him up, and the disciples as well. We're gonna go to the accounts now, right? They were bought, they were sold for, they were bought, they were compromised. You can't call yourself a true servant of Yahawashi, but you're compromised. You can't. Because if you're compromised here, you know Yahawashi is coming to establish a kingdom. Well, what's going to happen if you're compromised here? You're not going to want to lose what you have here. This is what happens. And then they end up fighting against Yahawashi. Why? Because they made the wrong decision to sell out. Now you don't want to let go of things. That's why the scripture says, if any man be my disciple, let him deny himself and come and follow me. So when you're following Yahawashi, he could send you anywhere, right? Just like when you see brothers do this video, in the UK, I've been Streatham, Tooting, all over London, Brother Kishore. Wherever he sends you, he sends you. You're no longer living for yourself now. If you want to be a disciple, let him deny himself. So you're denying yourself now. The ambitions in the world doesn't mean you're not ambitious, but you're denying yourself. The goals, the aspirations, right? All them aspirations. Well, now see, remember, balance now. A lot of you get it twisted. It doesn't mean, we're serving the Lord. That means you can't do nothing with yourself. No, them worldly ambitions have to go out the window. Because you can't have your cake and eat it. It's either you're gonna serve this world. You can't serve two masters. It says that in Matthew 6. I'm just paraphrasing everything. You can't serve two masters. Because you will love one and you will hate the other. So Yahushua, he wants his men to deny themselves and come and follow him. Keep it, follow him. Right? That's what he wants. That means you gotta let go. You gotta let go of things. You coming to serve the Lord, you gotta let go of things. Let go. I've made a mistake. I'll admit this sometimes, going back to places I shouldn't go back to. That's Yahushua. He said, I've delivered you from that. Why are you going back to that when I delivered you from it? Or that person or that person. I showed you who they were. Why? Because you prayed. You know when you pray, you praying for discernment, you're praying for Yahushua to reveal things. Well, when you pray for Yahushua to reveal things to you, you better be prepared. Because guess what he's going to do? Reveal things to you. Because that's what you prayed for. That's what you prayed for. So you pray for things, and you're surprised now when people get revealed in front of you. You can't complain. That's what you prayed for. I know and you're gonna see things that are gonna shock you. But that's what you prayed for. So now we showed you it. Now what do? You have to move accordingly now because he showed you who's for you, who's not for you. See, there's power in prayer. But with that prayer, when you ask for something, he's gonna test you. Now I've showed you it. Now what are you gonna do now? Hmm? See what else we got. Yeah, you have to understand what was going on during the time of Yahawashi when he was on the scene. What was going on? We know, right? He was healing people. That was clear. Let's go to John. Make this clear as possible. Mm. This is John 11 and 44. And another thing, you know the Freemasonry? Yeah, the Pharisees, they would be juiced in to the Freemasonry. Type in Pharisees and guess what you're going to see? You're going to see a big hall with a checkerboard. He's sold out, man. Sold out. The apostles never sold out. See, there was a difference. We're going to go to the contentions within the scriptures, the things you're going to see, the detail. See, when I bring up the scriptures, I go into detail. Let's start at this first. Start at it's John 12. We're gonna go to John 12, John 11. Yahawashi was a threat to what they had going, bro. They had to watch him. They had to. It was a threat to what they had going. So we got John 11. Gonna have to bear me just a minute. See if we can find it. Because he was not compromised, bro, to the Roman Empire. These men were compromised fully. So bear me just a minute. Um, I'm looking for that scripture where they got healed. Thingy got healed. Here it is. Check this out. This is John 11 and 45. Check this out here. Check this out right here. You see this? Don't know if you can see this from here. The plot to kill who they call Jesus, Yahawashi. It was a plot. It was a plot to get him out of it. It was a plot. Many of the Jews who had come to Mary and had seen the things Yahawashi did believed in him. So don't get it twisted. You know, there's people that watch your videos, they're inspired. They're inspired. They're motivated. Not everyone's against you. But if the enemy can get you to believe that, if he can get you to believe there's no hope, just give up, then he's won. It's a lie. Yeah, he does use people as well. But there's people that watch your videos and they love what you're doing. They love what you're doing. Okay? Which that shouldn't matter anyway. And it says, and had seen the things Yahawashi did, believed in him. But some of them went away to the Pharisees. They snuck off. They snuck off to the Pharisees. They were reporting back. You always gonna have spies. In every organization, you have spies. You have them. And told him the things Yahawashi did. Yeah, he was doing this, he was doing that, he was doing this miracle. You got a vision it. Yeah, he said this, he done this, and that happened. When the chief priests and Pharisees gathered a council and said, what shall we do? Ah, a council. What are we gonna do? Well, hold on. Some of these men, what? Were they for Yahawashi? If they were for Yahawashi, the first thing they wouldn't say, well, what are we going to do? You got this woman now that's going to walk past me in a bright Hy-Vee vest. So they would say, well, what are we going to do about this man that has such influence and such an impact? What are we going to do? So they were not for Yahawashi. Mama hi there. You okay? Mama Kisha. You got the women as well, Mama Kisha. The Hy-Vee. Remember this one for the temptations. Right? They just want that energy. And it says, this is John 11, and told him the things Yahawashi did. Then the chief priests and Pharisees gathered a council and said, council. Yeah, they had a council and they had buildings. You got these men living lavish, man, comfortable in their big ass buildings, man. The men alone were suffering. When the chief priests and Pharisees gathered a council and said, what shall we do? For this man works many signs. What shall we do? This man's working many signs. Why was it a problem to them? Because they had a following. These men had following. They had followers, right? Just like today. I see something. I'm not. There's several camps out there. There's GMS. They claim to have the 100% truth. Nah, Yahawashi has the 100% truth, and he's passed it down to his elect. It's not likened to one group. See, this up pride. Men are prideful. Still ain't grown. Not one group has 100% truth. Why? Because there's evil men within groups. So what? You have a congregation, right, of over 5,000 men, and all of them have 100% truth. Rubbish. Rubbish. The ones that have 100% truth are those that Yahawashi has what? Elected to have that truth. that has anointed to have that truth. And you know all things, right? That were given to you. That's how you know men have not grown. Now this is Luke. Check this out. Mm. You know, stay on the point. Mm. And so they knew he was doing miracles. And he was doing many miracles. And they didn't like that because they had a following. Right? So because they had a following, guess what? Yeah, they were losing followers. You got certain man, they only teach because of followers and money. Money. Because listen, bruh, you teaching truth, you exposing the Pharisees, you doing lessons like this, people start leaving them, they don't get that money anymore. Some people just teach for money. Verse 48, if we let him alone like this, are you paying attention? If we just let him be, just leave him, everyone will believe in him. Come on, powerful. What's that called? Hi there. Morning. Hiya, hello. Come and listen to the Bible, Baba Kisha. Kisha. So it says, Baba Kisha, if all men let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him. It says it. Everyone will believe in him. Everyone. Bro, that's impact. That's influence. Impact, influence. Everyone will believe in him. So some of you, you don't even know. Right? Yeah, they always talk loud as well, Baba Kisha. So, so everybody would believe in him. Everyone would believe in him. You know? That's impact. Some of you have an impact. Some of you are influential without even realizing it. Some of you are influential. All men will believe in him. So they have to stop that. They have to put an end to that. Pay attention. Stay with us. Stay with me. Baba Kisha. And it says, all men will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation. So now you need to ask yourself, this was 2,000 years ago. Nothing is new underneath the sun. Where are these same men today? Where are they today? It says all men will come away and both take away our place. So now you got to ask yourself, well, these men that are teaching today, where are these men that have the positions of authority in terms of physical, not spiritual, physical, buildings, money, access to people? Who is it? What groups? See, this is what people don't want to do. Because if you were if you were to go into the full spectrum of things, you would be able to identify this. They had worldly status, man. When you read about the elders, the chief priests, and the Pharisees, they had worldly status. They were not about Yahawashi. Let's continue. Hmm? And it says the Romans will come and take over both our place and nation. So what does that mean? That means they were in bed. They were in bed with the enemy. They were in bed with the Romans. How do we know? Let's stop right here. Right? And one of them, Caphias, being the high priest that year, said to them, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not the whole nation should perish. Now, he was saying this, he prophesied it, but he was saying it out of a demonic spirit. So in other words, he was saying, well, we're gonna need a sacrifice. We're gonna need someone to die for the sins of Israel. He was saying it from an evil place. And I believe Caphias, I believe I have a good feeling who he is today. And I believe he's in GMS. I'm not going to mention the person, but I believe he's in GMS. 100%. He's in Great Millstone. 100%. I believe that. Well, I'm not 100%, but I'm confident on it. Caphias is back here again today. Caphias, was he wicked? Yeah, he was wicked. He was wicked. He was of the chief priest order. Remember, these men had orders, but they weren't dealing right. They were not dealing right. They were about position. See, this is what happens when you speak truth. You threaten people's position when you speak truth. So now, let's go to Matthews. They were already set up. when Yahawashi was on the scene. Now let's go to Matthew 2. Now after Yahawashi was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod, Judea was a Roman province at that time under Herod. Who's Herod? He was son of Antipater. He was a false king, false Jew. He was acting like he was the Messiah. And the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who was born king of the Jews? Where is he? He's born here, king of the Jews. Hmm? And it says, for we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship. Seen his star in the east. The star is an angel, by the way, the angel. In the east. That's how they were able to identify Yahawashi, by looking at that star, which is a chariot. And have come to worship him. When Herod and the king heard this, he was troubled. Oh my gosh. Why was he troubled? Why was he troubled? Because he was a false ruler. That's why he was troubled. For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. And all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes and the people together, he inquired of them when Mashiach was to be born. Why? Because he wanted to take him out. He wanted to take out the Messiah. Some of you, right, you've had these extravagant births and all that, and you felt like someone was a dark force was trying to take you out when you were younger. Yeah, that's true. Remember Herod, he had magi's and all that and so forth, fortune tellers, all that. He had those people, right? People know if you have a destiny as well. People know those things. If you have some type of destiny, whatever, they know those things. They can sense it. Okay? And it says, check this out. There's more. His star in the east have come to worship him. When it says Herod was troubled and all Jerusalem with him. Herod troubled and all Jerusalem with him. Why? Because you had Herod's palace. Not too far from Herod's palace, what did you have? Those that sold out. Not too far from, type in Herod's palace and it will show you how everything was situated. And you had the Pharisees that were not too far from Herod's palace. They were compromised. That's why you can't look at everybody that has a Bible and be like, yeah, they're God sent. Yeah, they could be sent by the devil as well to lead you astray. There's more. I hope this is making sense to you. Whoever has an ear to hear will hear. When he gathered all the chief priests, scribes, the people together, he inquired of them where Mashiach was to be born. So he wanted to find out. So they said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written, the prophet, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are you not the least among the rulers of Judah? For out of you shall come a ruler who shall shepherd my people Israel. When Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the young child. When you have found him, bring back word to me, that I may come worship him also. You see, the reason why did he say that? He didn't want to worship him. He didn't want to worship him. Now the Magi's did. They wanted to worship him with the frankincense. Herod didn't want to do that. Herod wanted to take this child out from birth. From birth. That's why some of you brothers also, you've had a hard life. Yeah, the devil was trying to take you out. Years, bro. What do you think? What do you think gang stalking is based upon? Gang stalking is based on taking you out. That's what it's based upon. And guess who, within the scriptures, guess who the main ones were? These religious leaders. They were targeting the Messiah. See, this ain't nothing new. What we're talking about is nothing new. You can find it all in the scriptures. Why people do what they do. It's all in the scriptures. They had a position to maintain within that hierarchy of the kingdom of darkness. And that was as simple as that. And Yahawashi, they saw him as a problem because he was in the way of what they had going. So they had to take him out. because he was in the way. So we went to that now. Right? Yeah, it's all making sense. I hope it is. Hope this making sense. So we got Acts. We got Acts 2, right on it, and 22. Men of Israel, hear the words Yahawashi of Nazareth, a man attested by God to you by miracles. Remember, he was doing many miracles, wonders and signs which God did through him in your midst, as yourselves also know. Him being delivered by the determined purpose, delivered to who? The Romans. To be crucified, man. Hmm? By the Romans. And him being delivered determined purpose and for knowledge of God, you have taken by lawless hands. Oh, when it says lawless hands, they were corrupt then, right? When you read First Thessalonians, it talks about the mystery of iniquity. Mystery of iniquity. So they were taken, man, by lawless hands, man. Yeah, they didn't want Yahushua around because as long as he was living, they were not comfortable. That's what happens when you get up in this system and you have a high position. You get comfortable. You don't want to lose it. You see? Hope this is making sense. This is Acts 2. And it says, as you yourselves know him being delivered, you have crucified and put to death. That's what it means to X out. Crucify, to X out. Right? You have put to death whom God raised up, having loosed the pains of death. So now Yahushua has loosed those pains of death, man. Because it was not possible that he should be held by it. Not even death can held him back. You got the army troops now walking through. This is silly. For David says concerning him, I saw the Lord Yahweh always before my face. Always. It says it. I saw the Lord always before my face. For he is at my right hand, that I shall not be shaken. Therefore my heart rejoiced, and my tongue was glad. Moreover, my flesh will rest in hope. So we went into that. So, yeah, you had people that delivered up Yahushua to be crucified. That's our own people. You got men talking about the white man, Esau. Listen, John 8, you of your father the devil, man. You talk about some Esau, some Europeans and all that. No, they were. Pilate didn't even want to do it. Pilate didn't want to do it. The Pharisees were begging. They were begging. They were saying, crucify him. Crucify him. Right? That's our own people, our own nation. And guess who they picked? They picked, what was it, Barabbas. They picked Barabbas. Who was a Barabbas? He would cause a lot of, what do you call it? Dissent. Right? He was always causing the ruckus. I bet was he a thief? Or something like that. He was a dissenter. He was causing a lot of dissension. But they chose him. Over who? Over the Messiah. So that says a lot about our type of people, man. So within this truth, you're going to see a lot of different individuals, man. That have the spirit of Cain, the spirit of Saul. King David, which is also offspring, Yahushua offspring, same thing, same house. What was King David doing? He had to flee. He couldn't stay in one place for too long because he had enemies, man. He was on the move. He was moving because Saul was chucking them javelins at him. Yeah? Chucking bare javelins. So we had to move from that, right? All them javelins, I believe it, them javelins are accusations as well. King David had to dip, he had to just get dipping. It wasn't easy. Really serving Yahushua, there's blessings, but there's also a lot of hardship that comes with it. Slander, lies, persecutions, and all them things. See what else we got. There's a clear separation between those that are serving Yahushua and those that are not. What more do you need? Check this out. Acts 4 and We're also going to go to verse 23. Why did the nations rage? It says it. It says it. Why did the nations rage? And the people plot vain things. It says plot. So you have plotters. It says they plot vain things. Right? They're just sitting there plotting. That's the heathens. That's the nations. They don't want to see us restored back to who we are. So they plot vain things against the Lord Yahweh and his anointed. The kings of the earth stood, took their stand, and the rulers were gathered together. It says it. The kings of the earth took their stand. So who are the kings of the earth? Well, the rulers, the presidents, the princes, the Pharisees. They're the kings of the earth. And it says they stand up against who? The anointed. So the people that rule this system, the last thing they care about is the Bible. They could care less about the Holy Scriptures. They could care less about that. What they care about is their one world order, right? And another, their position, right? They want to continue with that position, right? If it was up to them, they just want to stay here forever. Nah, bro, we have a kingdom, bro. Don't you get it? We have a kingdom. Let's continue. Well, reading Acts 4, by the way, Acts 4. And the people plot vain things. So they plot. Hmm? And the kings of the earth took their stand and the rulers were gathered together. Key thing, gathered together. The rulers, all coming one as one, which is a new world order. Gathered together against the Lord Jehovah and against his anointed. So if you're serving the Lord, they're gathering against the Messiah, but they're gathering against you. For truly against your holy servant Yahawashi, who you anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate, with the Gentiles and the people of Israel. It says with the Gentiles and the people of Israel. So you have those within our nation, they take deals and they join the heathen. Like within the Maccabees, right? You read the Maccabees, you had the people that were joining the heathen, taking deals, man. It said they sold themselves to do mischief. Got people selling out to do mischief because they give up, they get weak, or they can't wait, and they think this is it. And to do whatever your hand and your purpose determined before to be done. Now, Lord Yahawashi, look on their threats, because Apostle Paul was being threatened not to teach or stop teaching. By who? The Pharisees and chief priests. And grant to your servants that with all boldness they may speak your word. So, good prayer. Grant us, Yahawashi, that with boldness we can speak this word without any fear of man. By stretching out your hand to heal, and that signs and wonders may be done through the name of your holy servant. So stretching out the hands to heal. People are getting healed, man. People are getting healed. Oh yeah, this was a part of the healing business as well. When you teach words, this is part of the healing business. Yahawashi is in the business of healing, man. Don't you know that? You got these medicines and all that now that they're prescribing to you. This is the real medicine. This is the real medicine right here. And when they had prayed, the place where they assembled together was shaken, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit. So they were praying, and there's power in praying in groups. There's power in that. It says the whole place was shaken, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and they spoke with the word of God with boldness. You see that? Right? You see that? Now the multitude of those who believed were of one heart, one soul. Neither did anyone say that any of the things he possessed was his own, but they had all things in common. And with great power, and apostles gave witness to the resurrection of the Lord Yahushua. They gave witness to it, his resurrection. Remember, because they were witnesses. And they'll say men are here today, witnesses. They were, you have men today that are here. They were with Yahushua in their past life. What do you believe? You believe you're one of those men, the elect were with Yahushua in their past lives. They were walking with him. They were walking with him. And with great power, the apostles gave witness to the resurrection of the Lord Yahawashi, and great grace was upon them all. Nor was there anyone among them who lacked, for all were possessors of lands and houses, sold them. See, that's faith as well. You know, if you've got loads of possessions, you sell them, right? You sell them, depending on the matter. That's faith. And brought proceeds of the things that were sold and laid them at the apostles' feet, and they distributed to each anyone had need. And Joseph, who was also named Barnabas by the apostles, which is translated son of encouragement, a Levite of the country of Cyprus, having land, sold it and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. That's faith, man. See, these men really had faith, right? And that's what type of faith we're supposed to have, man. Don't get too attached to anything in this world. Don't get too attached, right? And you just got a redhead that will just walk past now. Baba Gisha, don't get too attached to anything out here. Anything, right? That you're not willing to let go within 5 minutes. Anything. This is all vanity. We got another world. Oh, the sun's beaming out here now. It's feeling nice on my face. We got another world that we're looking forward to. We are not of this world. Don't try to fit into something you're not a part of anyway. You understand? Don't try to do that, right? When you do that, you look desperate. Don't try to fit in with anything, man. Be genuine, man. And your light is it will shine through. People will see that. They'll be forced. Well, you know what? I might not. I might not like him. I might not agree with him, but I respect him because he stands on his word. Yeah, people are forced to see it. Some people are forced to say it. You have to respect it. You see what else I got? So we went to that now. How all this was going down, right? So that now you had those that were laying, they sold their positions and basically put that into, the treasury for Paul. Paul wasn't begging for these things, right? But see, when a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, he even causes his enemies to be at peace with him as well. Listen, Yahushua has things in play. We have to be in alignment with his word. The more we're in alignment with this, the more things can happen for us. Now there is witchcraft, there is a lot of that that's going on, a lot of it that's going on. Energy harvesting, witchcraft, um, all that stuff. But when you're in alignment with Yahushua, guess what happens? That stuff comes off you. And you will feel lighter. You will know when witchcraft is put on you because you feel heavy, you feel confused. Well, when you're in the word, that stuff will come off you. Okay? So let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. And then another thing, now these Pharisees, what were they actually doing? They were teaching you about the law. We're gonna go to Mark. They were teaching you about the law, right? Why you should keep it and so forth. Uh, they were not really teaching you about Yahushua. You know, when you read the scriptures, where were they teaching you about Yahushua? They were not. They were not really teaching you. Now you had righteous Pharisees, by the way, but most of them they were not teaching. They were teaching you about the law, and religious matters. Let's go. Let's get something. They were full up of the old wine. You cannot put what's it? You cannot put new wine in old bottles. Why? Because it will burst. These men got the old wine according to the old covenant. Yahushua came on the scene, bro. That's new covenant, man. They were stuck in the old way of doing things. See, a lot of old people, they don't want to change. They were stuck in the old way of doing things. When Yahushua came on the scene, now there's a new way. In Hebrews, it tells a new and better way. This is making sense. Let me slow down, right? Just getting in the stride now. Okay, so let's go to Mark and check this out as well. Really going into detail. When these videos are done, brothers, when we're doing these videos, it's so you can it's thought provoking, so you can really think. All right, let's go to Mark 7. Check this out. When the Pharisees and some of the scribes came together to him, having come from Jerusalem. Now, when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is, with unwashed hands. So they haven't washed their hands. Their hands are somewhat dirty. They found fault. Let's stop there. So these men, it said Pharisees and scribes. Who were the scribes? Scribes would write things down, right? and so forth. They saw Yahawashi's disciples. When it says they saw them with unwashing hands, they eat bread they were eating. So, in order for you to see that, you must have been prepped up somewhere, just looking. That's a monitoring spirit. So these men, they, you got to understand this. When people talk about targeting and all that, this has been happening for years. They were watching. They were too over righteous. So what? If man was eating bread with dirty hands, so what? That's not a sin. They didn't have no balance. They didn't have balance. And when you don't have balance, yeah, it can make you wicked. It can make you too judgmental if you don't have balance. We're reading from Mark 7 chapter. Now, when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is, with unwashed hands, they found fault. They found a problem. Look out for men that's always looking for a problem. It was like that with the Pharisees, always looking for a problem. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, do not eat unless they wash their hands in a special way. So they had a tradition of doing things, holding the tradition of the elders. So tradition, it could be wicked if it's passed down through a man and elders if it's not of the most highest tradition. You see, they had their own thing going. When they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash. So in other words, he would say, no, they're not supposed to be doing that. You have to, you can't eat. You're not going to eat this food unless you wash your hands. See, they had a certain way of doing things. And there are many other things which they have received and hold, like the washing of cups. But the whole washing, you washing cups, making it look clean, that don't matter. See, that's all outward appearance, man. And it says, oh, and this is making sense. This is why in Matthew 23 it says, "Wash the eye." But this is new revelations. See how the new revelations. This is why now when you go to Matthew 23, this is why you have said, wash what's within inside the platter, and wash what's within the cup, not the outside of the cup, the inside. Because inwardly they were not right. Inwardly, you got to wash inside of you. That's why we're saying no. So let's go back to this. And it says the washing of cups, pitchers, copper vessels, and couches. They were proper particular on everything being clean and so forth. Hi there, madam. How you doing?
I'm good.
You enjoying the weather today?
I am.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Beautiful, but not as beautiful as you. So they were washing all the cups and the pouches and the vessels, all those things, right? They were very particular on how they were doing things. But that's all. That's all outward show. That's all outward. It's about how you are inwardly, and how you are inwardly that comes out outwardly. So you don't have to do extra work, right? You don't have to do all this extra stuff, right? Because you have it inwardly. You see, when you're doing things outwardly, that's exhausting because you're trying to impress people. The Pharisees, they were about have a show. They didn't have the spirit of Yahawashi. They were about validation from others. Most of these men, they would stop. If they were to lose half of their followers, they would stop teaching. They're that insecure. Men I care about no followers. There are people follow, they're followed by that Yahawashi brings them in. Let's see what else we got. All right. This is a Mark 7 and 5. When the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders? According to the principles, our principles. Why are you not walking according to our principles? Why are you doing what we're doing? No, that's weird. See, you gotta understand, Yahushua, he was very unorthodox. He was a game changer. He wasn't doing things see society, how society does things. See, we're programmed from a young age to do things how society does things. Let me slow this down. 1 verse 5. But eat bread with unwashing hands. Verse 6. He answered and said to them, Well, did Isaiah prophesy of you, you hypocrites, as this is written? This people honors me with their lips. Now Yahawashi was telling them off. You're hypocrites, man. They honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. You got these people going to church on Sundays. Yeah, Jesus, Jesus. Then you see these same people, they're working witchcraft. They honor me with their lips, but their hearts, their mind is far from me. Their mind is far from me. It's not ready on Yahawashi. That's why it says in James, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only, deceiving your own self. Lest you become a man like a beholding his face in a natural glass and go back and forget of what manner of man he was. You forget who you were before you were teaching. This ain't just a Saturday thing. A lot of men just gonna turn up on weekends, have a joke, have a laugh. Then rest of the week, what are you doing for the rest of the week? What are you putting your time into? And time is precious right now, right? We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury of just doing anything. Use your time wisely. You should be using this time to get closer to Yahawashi. Use it wisely, because tomorrow is not promised. This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me. So there's certain people that worship the Lord Yahawashi in vain, not in truth, not in sincerity. Teaching as doctrines of commandments of men. This is where you get the corruption. The doctrine of men, not the doctrine of Yahweh Yahawashi. For laying, it says it, for laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men. Laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men. So they put the true way things should be done, they put that aside. This how you, I don't want to call out names, but there's certain apostles, the men, you're not supposed to worship them. You're supposed to reverence them. Scripture do reverence in the elders. Be willing to listen to every godly discourse. It tells you that in the Bible, right? And so forth. And give double honor to those that rule over you. Yeah, that's honor. There's honor and there's worship. Who are we supposed to be worshiping? You never worship another man that is like yourself. You worship the Son and the Father. When you start doing that, guess what? Now you have a cult-like following. This how cults begin. You worship Yahawashi and the Father. Men start putting their elder apostles above Yahawashi now, which leaves you in a bad situation because you're not looking at things right. You're not looking at things right. Now, say if one of the apostles was to drop out, or they say they don't believe no more, or they denounce Yahawashi, you're gonna do the same thing. Well, a lot of brothers are not thinking, man. Still on that same level. Still on that same level. All right? Let's see what else we got. Yeah, brothers got to grow in this truth, man. Not growing. And it says, check this out. We're gonna go straight to verse 8. For laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers. There they go again with that washing business, the washing of pitchers, cups, and many other such things you do. Pitchers, cups, and many other things you do. They're about a show. They're just about showing you, making them look like they were certain. You don't have to do that if you're sincere, if you're genuine. You don't have to do all that extra stuff. He said to them, all too well, you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father, your mother, and he who curses your father or mother, let him be put to death. But ye say, if any man says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is Corban. That is a gift to God. So instead of brothers giving, presents to their mother or father, guess what they would do? They would say, no, don't do that. Give it to us. You give that to the treasury. They were doing that, basically. They were robbing. They were robbing. And they also said they were robbing the widows as well. So they were not dealing righteously. And it says, whatever profit you might have received from me is Corban. It says it. That is the gift of God. Then you no longer let him do anything for his mother or his father, making the word of God of no effect through your tradition, which you have handed down, and many such things you do. When he called all of the multitude to himself, he said to them, hear me, everyone, and understand. There is nothing that enters into a man from the outside which can defile him. You hear that? But the things which come out of him, those are the things that defile a man. The things that are what? Outside of you. That's what's defiling you. So like inside of you, am I reading that right? The things which come out of him, those are, yeah, the things that come out. What comes out? Huh? What are the things that come out of you? Speech, your thoughts, your thinking. That's what comes out of you. You see? We're going to shut off soon as well. Let me check the time. About an hour in. And it says, that's what defiles you. If anyone has an ears to hear, let him hear. Right? When he had entered into a house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So he said to them, are you thus without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatever enters into a man from the outside cannot defile him, because it does not enter into his heart but his stomach, and is eliminated, thus purifying all foods? And he said, what comes out of a man that defiles a man? For from within, out of the heart of men, proceedeth evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. That's what defiles a man. Your thoughts. And when you act upon them sinful thoughts, that's how you be defiled. Now, if you don't act upon it, that's not a defilement. It becomes sin when you act upon it. When you're not acting upon it, it's not sin. Right? So Yahawashi, you see how he dealt with these men. You have to have balance in this truth, man. You don't balance, you're gonna turn yourself mad. You've got to have balance, man. What do you think brothers do? Just levitate all day, doing nothing, just levitating. No, you go out, you exercise, you eat foods, you might take your woman cinemas, you might have a certain activity. You balance yourself out, right? Well, but the fathers, they never had that. They were just pointing the finger, too judgmental. Nothing's wrong with judgment. Nothing is wrong with judgment. But with that same judgment you mete out will be also met to you. You've got to be balanced in things, man. Not always pointing the finger, because I always say this: for everything that's pointed at you, that you're pointing, there's 10 other fingers that's pointing at you. Hmm? Find balance in what you're doing. Always find a good balance within it. Yahawashi, yeah, he judged. He even said, it's not me that judged, it's my father that judged. And in the mouth of two witnesses, he knows his judgment is true, because he has another but that's judging. But he was also talking about mercy. Always said that. Let's go to Matthew 23. Oh, the helicopter's coming out now. Usually when a helicopter comes out, usually that's when you see the army people come out as well. When the helicopter comes out. I know how the whole structure is working now. The whole structure of this kingdom. Mother Kisha. And as I said, that woman come past plugging it. Let's go to Matthew 23. See what else we can find. This is Matthew 23. Right, check this out. Matthew 23 and 23. Woe to you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise of cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the Lord, justice, mercy, and faith. These you have ought to have done, without leaving the others undone. Blind guides. So they were lacking the most weightier matters, you see, which is what? Mercy, faith. They never had that. These were the things you have to all have done. Why they were not doing it? So what they were doing, they were going across that. They were the things you should have done, right? Army, ex-army, they're the things you should have done. The most important things of mercy, right? I feel some negativity. There's some negativity, Baba Kishore. Yeah, you got people got all types of spirits upon them, Baba Kishore. So we just have to be in the right spirit. Okay, I'm gonna shut off here because I need to save data as well, like pure data. Brothers are being diligent, bro. And this is more my element now. Your hour of darkness has come. Let's go to John. Hmm? Your hour of darkness has come. But now the Lord, we are the light. And well, let's go to this. So this is John 12. Heavy, heavy, heavy. This is John. Actually, go to John 12. And we're gonna jump straight to 30. Yahawashi Apostles said this. This voice did not come because of me, but for your sake. Now it's the judgment of this world. Now the ruler of this world will be cast out. Who's the ruler of this world? Satan. Now he will be cast out. And I am lifted up from the earth, that resurrection, and will draw all peoples to myself, which all nations are going to worship him anyway. Okay? This he said, signifying by what death he should die. Right? The people asked him, we have heard from the Lord that Mashiach remains forever. How can you say the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Then Yahawashi said to them, a little while longer, the light is with you. Walk while you have the light. Right? Which was Yahawashi. Right? Lest darkness overtake you. So we also got to walk while we have this light, lest the darkness of these people overtake you. What they want to do, they want to consume you with darkness, because they are part of that darkness as well. So walk while you have the light, so you're not consumed by darkness of this world. He who walks in darkness does not know where he is going. So a lot of these people, I'm not being horrible, but they don't know where they're going. But they want to project that up on us. Oh, he's stuck. He don't know where he's going. He's trapped. He's no, we're not. Wherever Yahawashi sends us, that's where we go. It's fair. We're not stuck, right? We know where we're going, okay? And it says, check this out. Why you have the light? Believe in the light, that you may become the sons of light. That's heavy. Wait, that you may become the sons of light. So Yahawashi, he's given us a name. We can also call ourselves sons of light. See, when you're walking in the light, you become a son of light. And that's spiritual because it's a sunny day today. I think it's going to be 17 to 16. It's going to be warm. Come on. So walk while you have that light. Okay? Walk. The enemy can't snuff out your light. That's what they want you to do. Is they dim it a little bit. It's too bright. It's too bright. When your light's too bright, guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna start exposing wickedness. They want you to dim that. Don't dim it. Don't dim it. Get brighter. The more darkness comes at you, get brighter. Let's go. These things Yahweh spoke and departed and was hidden from them. Another thing, when Yahweh should try to do teachings, he would get out the way. This ain't about fame. He would teach. Sometimes he'll tell no man I healed you. I'm on my way. Just just left. Just left. He wasn't seeking fame and validation of demons. Why are you gonna do that for? See what else there is. But although he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him. So you could be doing all these signs, all these miracles. You're still gonna have some that don't believe you. But the word of Isaiah, the prophet, might be fulfilled, which he spoke. Lord, who has believed our report? To whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Not everybody's going to believe. That's up to them. So what if some did not believe? So who cares? Who cares, man? Most of these people, they've been hijacked by Satan. Most of these people, they're on what you call MK Ultra and these different programs, right? So you know what we're going to do? We're going to shut off here because I want to save battery as well. And Lord willing, this was edifying. And until the next time, Shalom. And brothers, these scriptures deal with everything. Everything. I hope this gives you more clarity on the men of the Lord that were serving Yahawashi and those that were not. I hope this is edifying, right? And until the next time, shalom to the hopeful elect, and stay safe out there. Shalom.